been admitted as an inmate to Chesapeake Correctional Facility after a conviction of motor vehicle theft. A jury, just like you all today, convicted him based on the facts before them, but they sentenced him to 6 months in prison, not to death. We are here today because the actions that took place at Chesapeake Correctional Facility were brutal, illegal, unethical, and led to the death of an 18-year-old boy. Michael entered prison as an altruistic, good-natured young kid. Sure, he had made some mistakes, but he was a sweet kid. So naturally, when he saw Officer Oberfeld trip and intentionally injure another inmate, he decided to do the right thing and report it. But that action of good faith was his first mistake in the eyes of CCI. That was because, immediately after, CCI, completely against USCA prison safety standards, took the trust that Michael gave them and shattered it by telling Oberfeld about where Michael had her phone, and by doing so, put a target on his back. You all heard from witness testimony today that Oberfeld and Mr. Shubstock threatened, beat, and brutally injured Mr. Ballin with malice when all Michael did to receive these actions was file legal complaints. He did not retaliate, but rather than help him, CCI put Michael Ballin in an 80-foot box. One time when he was still a minor, and another time when he was denied his right to medical treatment. Dr. Singh, the prison psychologist, even warned the warden Chester, that these actions put Michael in danger and something needs to be done. But sadly, just as the prison was warned, when Michael arrived home, he ended his own life. So today, the plaintiff brings 4 counts, 2 against CCI and 2 against Officer Oberfeld. I'll start with those against CCI. Count 1, which states that CCI had a deliberate indifference to the medical needs of Michael Ballin under Section 1983, and Count 2, which states that CCI had a deliberate indifference to the personal safety of Michael Ballin, again under Section 1983. Let's talk about that section. So, Section 1983 states that prisons are not allowed to deprive prisoners of their rights as stated in the 8th Amendment, being freedom from cruel and unusual punishment. Dr. Miller-Donovan explained today how a violation of the 8th Amendment is based off of violations of current standards, such as the USCA standards. Both medical needs and personal safety are reserved as rights for inmates, and denying a prisoner those rights is a violation of their constitutional rights. But when CCI not only violated Michael's rights, but they did so knowingly, that, ladies and gentlemen, is deliberate indifference. So let's start with count 1. His deliberate indifference to the medical needs. Zion Herman, Michael's friend, testified to the court today about Michael's obviously deteriorating mental state. He witnessed firsthand the abuse and effective set abuse on Michael. Mika Ballin, Michael's mother, testified today that on multiple occasions she contacted the prison to alert them of Michael's mental state. They refused to take any action until she threatened to go to the press about their illegal conduct, which finally led Michael to speak to a doctor. Mrs. Ballin went on to explain to the court today that this doctor updated her about her son's mental illness and was trying to help him. But when he tried to reason with the prison, they ignored him. Again, the doctor in the prison informed the warden of the help Michael needed and was ignored. That, ladies and gentlemen, is deliberate indifference. So let's go to count 2, CCI's deliberate indifference to Michael's safety. Michael Ballin made 6 formal grievances during his time in CCF about his personal safety being violated, both by Officer Oberfeld and Outlaws for Life. Every single one of those was ignored and denied, not because of a lack of evidence, but because either as Officer Oberfeld says, it's just not our top priority to follow these standards, or because they just didn't take the word of Michael Ballin as trustworthy. To further go into the indifference to Michael's safety, we look at July 12th. On that day, Michael was attacked by a gang running rampant in the prison. Let's look at CCI's response. Did they move Michael to a different block? No. Did they move Michael to a different cell? No. Did they move any of Michael's attackers at all? No. CCI's response was to take the injured, traumatize Michael, and put him in solitary confinement for 28 days before placing him back in the exact same environment of violence. CCI was aware Michael was in danger and allowed it to continue. Or in other words, deliberate indifference. So the other 2 counts are against Officer Oberfeld. Count 3, which states that Officer Oberfeld failed to act to protect Michael, and Count 4, which states that Officer Oberfeld used excessive force against Michael. Let's start with Count 3. Officer Oberfeld, the person Michael put his trust in to protect his life in the time of need, told the court today that he enjoyed watching the brutal attack on Michael by Outlaws for Life. Again, Officer Oberfeld sat back and enjoyed watching a 17-year-old get brutally attacked instead of doing his job. Even ignoring Oberfeld's inappropriate financial connection to Shubstock, Oberfeld's lack of intervention in 3 independent situations where Michael was attacked is a violation of Michael's right to protection. We have Dr. Donovan to help us here. Unless there is a fear for the officer's safety, which the defense has failed to provide, a lack of intervention is a violation of constitutional rights. So now let's go to count 4. Officer Oberfeld's own excessive force against Michael. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to think back to the incident on October 3rd. The order of events matters here. On October 3rd, Officer Oberfeld punched Michael to secure his dowry. And while that alone wouldn't be considered excessive force, Officer Oberfeld went on to punch Michael 3 more times. Did he do this to protect his own safety? No. Did he do this to protect others? No. Officer Oberfeld admitting to doing this because he wanted to put Bolin in his place. Now, the defense is going to try to direct your attention to Michael's response, attacking Oberfeld. But I want you all to remember that Michael is not on trial, and Oberfeld's actions preceded Michael's. This is not a case of self-defense because Oberfeld attacked first. This is not a case of a violent fight. This is simply brutality disguised as justice. And CCI protected Oberfeld. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, just look at the witnesses brought before you today. For the plaintiff, there is Vika Bolin, a grieving mother who wanted to make sure her son was safe. Zion Herman, an eyewitness to tyranny at CCF from the perspective of an inmate that doesn't have gang protection. And finally, Dr. Miller Donovan, an expert. There were the very laws we are discussing today. And the defense brought Warren Chester, who admitted to blatantly violating USCA policies and grievance policies at the expense of Michael Bolin. Sam Shutstop, a violent, convicted gang leader, and finally Officer Oberfeld, who admitted to standing by watching Michael get harassed. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael served his time. Officer Oberfeld did not. Michael used legal complaints. CCI responded by silencing him. Oberfeld responded by attacking him. They instilled damages on Michael that followed him, that haunted him, and that took his life. In suing CCI and Officer Oberfeld, we cannot bring Michael back. It's too late for that. The plaintiff asks that you find CCI and Oberfeld liable on all counts and award the plaintiff $4 million. Not just for what happened to Michael, but for the next young adult who finds themselves in Michael's shoes. Thank you.